Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Genex Thinks Live. This is the special 2-hour Sunday edition, so we'll have plenty of time to talk today. Uh, Today I'm going to talk about, I'm going to start this show off by talking about NATO and the UN and all that kind of stuff. Just my thoughts on it, how I feel about it, what's going on, what has been going on, and whatnot. Um, as a request from an earlier live stream, someone asked me to talk about that, and I figure I would put my 2 cents in, let everybody know where I stand on that, and we can talk about it if y'all want, or we can branch off and talk about something else. But Lake, just another guy in the woods, Melody, Oliver Rust, Duncan, Wayne Beatty, what's up? Good afternoon, everybody, or evening or morning, depending on where you're at. Glad to see y'all here. Okay, so to begin our conversation today, I'm gonna give you an analogy here of the way I see the United States government, and I often get a lot of let's see, a clearer picture of what's going on when I reduce it down to a smaller footprint, right? Um, because by going up in stages, you go from a family to a town to a city to a state. You know, from the county to the state to the country. I mean, you're just adding people to it, but the same basic principles should apply. If sanity is to prevail, anyway. Dog Karma, what's up, Dog Karma? Jeff7, my boy Mike Fleisner, what's up? All right. So imagine, if you will, a household, right? And the father, and I'm going to put the father as the breadwinner because I'm a man and people project. So I'm going to put the father as the breadwinner. Let's say you're watching this family, this household run by the father, and the father spends all his time. He's always working on his neighbor's properties and stuff. He's got one neighbor's window ripped out, the half-ass put in there. It's all messed up. He's got a ladder up on another neighbor's roof, right? Up there, got shingles ripped out, half mowed another neighbor's lawn, and just pissing away all kinds of money on these neighbors, and not fixing anything, not doing anything right. Just spending money, messing up the neighbors' houses and shit. And the wife, she's like, the wife is on OnlyFans trying to pay the bills back at home because there's no money for his own home because he's pissing away everything he gets, and he doesn't even work, right? The father doesn't even work. He just borrows money from the bank, then robs his own family, his kids and shit, and his wife takes their money to just give enough money back to the bank to keep him afloat. So then he just pisses away the money wherever he can, wherever he feels like it in the moment. One of the sons is, living on the back porch because he stinks and he's all messed up, wounded, got one leg and shit because, the father sent him over to fight another neighbor over a dispute, a couple blocks away. It had nothing to do with his own house, but he sent him over there to get in that fight for some reason. And son come home with PTSD and a missing limb and shit. The other son, sick with cancer or something. The daughter's just stupid, no education, thumbing through TikTok videos and shit, just drooling on her phone. They're all starving. They're all hungry. And now that is what a household would look like if it was run the way our government runs our country. The only reason that the country functions is because there are so many people and it's so much money, and it just takes longer to collapse. You know what I mean? In the household scenario, you can't keep that going very long because, number one, the bank wouldn't keep lending the father money forever, right? The bank could only lend the father money for a very short time, and then everything would collapse. So, and that's the only real reason. And then the mother would get tired, and they would just abandon the father eventually. Tripwire, Raziel, what's up? Glad to see y'all here. All right, Rusty Doob, the Great Northern Canada. What's up, Rusty? Bucky, what's up, Bucky? Glad to see you here. Duck B, yeah, glad to see y'all here. So, Arnis, hey Arnis, glad to see you, buddy. So when you see a household run the way our government is run, it's insanity. It's chaos. It doesn't work. It falls apart within months, probably. But the further you go up, the higher you go up in the chain of things. You get up to the top of a country, and you can run a country like that for generations before the shit collapses, before the shit falls apart to the point where it's no longer sustainable. Underground, what's up, Underground? Glad to see you here. Yeah, maybe he needs to rob the bank to pay his family. Yeah, that's probably real close to what needs to happen when we're talking about federal government type of shit. Yeah, something like that. Now, as far as that goes, now our government is just completely corrupt. It's a nightmare mess on the order of that I just described. Okay, that is the actual mess our government is in. Just when you shrink it down to a family unit, it's magnified. The problems become really obvious. Okay, and what does that have to do with NATO and all this? So we're sending all this money overseas. Okay, and how much? So I actually brought up a thing. This is from 2024, and it says how much each individual country spent on NATO, contributed to NATO. Slovakia, 3 billion. That's a big number. That's a whole lot of money for the Slovakians to chip in. Granted, that's a big old number. Latvia, only 1 billion. Lithuania, 2 billion. Okay. Croatia, 2 billion. Bulgaria, 2 billion. That's a whole lot of money. We all know that. That's not big. And then we get into our big spenders with who is this? Like Denmark, 10 billion. Then the Netherlands, 21 billion. So they contributed 21 billion to NATO. Okay, the defense fund. Then you get into your big spenders, your real big spenders, like the UK, 82 billion. And Germany's on top of Europe with 98 billion. They're the biggest, 98 billion. Most of them probably average around 10 to 20 billion, though. Now, you might wonder, what did the United States contribute when Germany is at 98 billion? So we must be hovering right around there with the top, right? With the biggest, since they're in Europe, and that's basically who we're defending is Europe. So we got to be right up there with Europe, right? With Germany at 98 billion. Try 968 billion. That's how much the United States, more, not equal to, more than all of the other countries in NATO combined. Okay. That's not cool. It's not okay. It's not fair. It's not right in any way, shape, or form. It needs to be. It needs to be somewhere on a level playing field. Come on. And even the people over there in those countries, and I'm talking to my and about my brothers and sisters in Western civilization. So, but even y'all have to realize that that the United States paying 10 times more then the highest country in Europe, and equal to, more than, but it's basically equal to all of the countries in Europe combined. There's something wrong there. Us common taxpayers are the ones who are footing the bill for all this shit. It's not right. If it was Norway or some other country like that, and it was some huge number, I'd be like, that's not right. Norway shouldn't be paying all that when we're only paying a little bit. That's ridiculous. Something's wrong. It needs to be fixed. Okay. But NATO is a corrupt scam job just like everything else. All right. Is it necessary? No, I don't even think it's necessary. All these fools, these leaders across the world, um, put it like this: children learn, by the time they're 5 years old, two very simple rules: leave other people alone, their property and shit, and share. You learn how to share, and you learn don't take shit from your brother, and share. So, and these leaders in these educated, highly intelligent leaders of countries can't figure that shit out that a 5-year-old can figure out. Leave everybody else the hell alone and share the resources on this planet. So, yeah, I don't agree with any of that shit. None of this shit is necessary. None of this NATO shit is necessary. None of this, I mean, if they would enforce it, if somebody got out of line and they went over there and actually kicked some ass that deserved to be kicked, okay, fine. Of all of Europe, everybody chipped in troops and they went and kicked some ass, rolled into Russia, just kicked that ass and rolled back out. Okay, there's your warning. Do it again and it's going to get worse, Russia. Some shit like that. But that's not what happens. You know what I mean? I'm not saying take Russia and make it the 51st state or anything. No, just go kick that ass and tell them to shape up, because, it's going to get worse, or whatever. I use Russia as an example, China, whoever, you know what I'm saying? With all of our combined strength, we could make the world act right. Stop all these wars, stop all this bullshit, but we don't. And the UN is just a horrendous sack of shit. They're worse than the United States government, as far as I'm concerned. The only thing I dislike more than our government is the UN, and WEF and WEC and all that shit, or whatever those acronyms are, that, bullshit acronyms that they use to hide behind. Yeah, they could. What would that $968 billion? How much good could they do in the United States, for the people of the United States, with that money, right? Not to mention all of the corruption, like Underground said, all of the corruption and just thievery and shit and all this stuff. Imagine how much good they could do with that. Okay, just to stop it. Just don't even turn around and help us with the money. Don't do that. Just stop blowing it. Would help us dramatically, because it would freeze inflation. Our dollar would quit being devalued. That's the insidious thing. They had to print up that 968 billion to give away, and that lowered the value of our dollar by 968 billion. You know what I mean? The shit just doesn't. The more of something you have, the less valuable it is. That's why they pretend that diamonds are so rare, so they'll remain valuable. It's the same principle. So they keep printing up all these dollars, and now it's way easier to print them up because they're just digital. They don't even have to, come up with any materials or anything. They just got to keep hitting zeros until their arm gets tired. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's horrendous. And we're giving all this money away and devaluing our currency. That's that's why everything is outrageously expensive now, because of inflation, because of all this money we're blowing all over the world. And there could an argument could be made that yes, we need to blow this money all over the world if it actually went to help the people of these countries. But it doesn't. Go ask your Australian on the street or your Frenchman on the street if his life is grand and perfect right now, if it's just wonderful because America has sent them a whole bunch of money. No, that money got taken by the top of their governments and filtered into their corporations and shit. Those people didn't see it. Their dollar or their currencies being devalued just like ours. Those people aren't being helped, right? So yeah, that's not even an argument to be made. Those people aren't being helped. We're not helping common people with all this money we're blowing all over the damn planet. All we're doing is harming ourselves. Period. End of story. There's no more to that story. They're destroying us, our wealth, our everything, and that's it. There's no good done with it. So yeah, that's where I sit with that kind of shit. What's up, Gen X Tomcat? Glad to see you, man. Glad you can make it. 10 Grizz, my boy. What's up, 10 Grizz? Glad to see you here, man. 11 degrees. Yeah, that's a little too cold, 10 Grizz. Yeah. They start calling you 11 Grizz. If you go out there and freeze, they're gonna, you're just an ice sculptor. Then they're gonna call you 11 Grizz because it's 11 degrees out there when you froze. Yeah, me too, Arnis. Yeah, yeah. I'm been sick of it for a while, but it's getting out of hand. Our tax dollars going to be used as global welfare. Yeah, um, yeah. It's not that much money if it's not yours. It's being given away. Yeah, and the the main thing they borrow the money from the bank, so they're not. I mean, they rob us and give it to the bank, but they borrow the money to give all this shit out, right? They just get a loan from the bank. But every time they take a loan out from the bank, like this last time they had a government shutdown and the big beautiful bill had to be signed and the Democrats were holding out and those dirty Republicans and those dirty Democrats and all that shit. All right. They were trying to get a loan from the bank and they needed the Democrats to say, okay, you can get this loan from the bank. They call it a bill, but it's a loan. That's all it is. It's a loan. All right. And every time they take out one of those loans, they don't take some money out that's already in circulation and give it back. They print up new money, and that devalues our currency. It makes us poorer. Uh, so, yeah, it's just insane. It really is. All right, yeah, Tom, glad to see you, man. Yeah, that's a clear handle. That's for damn sure, dude. Yeah. Yeah, Shannon. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Um, and it's our government. We generationally we've been allowing this shit for decades. America doesn't have that money to burn. Well, we've already burned 38 trillion, Duncan. So and when you're just getting it from the bank, right? If I could get it from the bank, Duncan, think about it. If I could get it from the bank and you're going to pay it back someday, Duncan. Duncan's going to pay it back someday, whatever. And the bank will give me as much as I want, as much as I want, literally. I can write myself a check, and Duncan will pay it back one day. But so I mean, unless I was a moral person and I just didn't want to destroy your life, Duncan. That's a very tempting prospect. You know what I mean? Um, so I'll just I'll just move away from Duncan and I'll never have to see him again. But I'll be, I'll buy me a mansion in Tahiti or some damn where, and I'll never have to see Duncan suffer. You know what I mean? It's that's the world we're living in. These scumbag politicians they're so removed from us. They don't know how we live. They don't know, they don't give a shit about us. So they'll just run up the bill and devalue our currency, and we'll pay it back one day. If not us, then our grandkids or whatever, they'll pay it back. It's no big deal, and that's what it is. Metal Gear, what's up? Metal Gear, Brad Davis, too. What's up, Brad? Yeah, designer poverty. Yeah, exactly, dude. Well said, man. Yeah. Yeah, and that's another Sniz. What's up, Sniz? Gary Shelley. Glad to see y'all here. All right. Yeah, there's another. It snowed up in Pensacola, Gary. Oh, all right. Yeah, that's cool as hell. Oh, all right, Sniz. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, well, the Greenland thing. Let's talk. Okay, that was another topic that I was supposed to discuss today. Thank you for bringing it up, Trip. The Greenland thing. What do I think about that? The whole Greenland thing. Uh, well, that depends. If it's what they say it is, which uh, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe they're telling us the truth. If it's what they say it is, and we need it for defense and all that stuff, okay, I guess so. Maybe if they're lying about it and it's all just some bullshit fiasco game, smoke and mirrors bullshit, then no. Why are we screwing around with other countries and messing around with other countries? I would default to stay at home, defend ourselves, enrich ourselves, and help our allies, and have our allies help us, and make Western civilization as strong as it can be. One country doing that within themselves at a time, focusing on themselves, getting themselves strong, and then reaching out and helping other countries in Western civilization. And then when Western civilization is whole and strong and rich, then we can start helping others. You cannot, run to your neighbor's house and throwing buckets of water on your neighbor's burning house when your own house is burning to the ground. That just doesn't make sense. Uh, Having said that, I don't know. Maybe Greenland is some kind of strategic, highly important place. Maybe it is. I can't deny that because I don't know. If it is, take it. But take it. What else? What else is there to say? You know, um, if we're talking about taking care of America first and then helping others, uh, why if it's in the best interest of Western civilization for America to have Greenland, then why doesn't Denmark just give it to us? Yeah, go ahead. You're protecting us anyway. You donated $968 billion to our defense in 2024. Have it. There you go. Take it. We trust you guys. Shit, you're the only reason we're not speaking German right now. So yeah, go ahead. But that's the shit I'm talking about. Um, so take it. You know, Tank Ferret presents. What's up, Tank? Design, build, create. Yeah, the love of money is the root of all evil. Um, and the money is control. So the love of control of other people and shit. Yeah, yeah, people like their swimming pools and their yachts and their Ferraris and all that. Don't get me wrong, but that's not evil. It's love of control, controlling other people, wanting to make decisions for them to what's best for them. All right, I can go work hard and buy me a Ferrari, but that's not evil, you know. But if I start manipulating other people with my money and using it as a tool to control other people, now I'm just evil, straight up. Yeah. Well, hopefully we all hate the evils in the world. Design. Old man. Glad to see you, old man. Glad you could make it, dude. Their actions that providing the CCP with resources and a military foothold is more important than NATO. All right. I wish I knew the truth. I wish I actually knew the truth on a bunch of this stuff. U.S. already has the right to military bases and to the minerals, so why? Yeah, see, yeah, why? If that's true, and we already have the rights to minerals there, and we build military bases all over the place, then why does the U.S. need to own it? Right? I don't, I don't understand. We've been protecting Greenland from Denmark since 1952, Mike. Missile base? Okay. Yeah, addicted to commercialism. That's the damn truth. Yeah, if that's true, design, and we already have all the rights to do whatever we want there, militarily speaking, then it's just it's retarded to go through all this and blow a bunch of money and blow a bunch of time. But Trump is known for doing this, this magic trick shit. Making a big deal out of something, and then it turns out to be nothing. While he's just pulling levers, trying to manipulate other leaders. So I don't know. The map of technate of America. It explains a lot. All right, Jeff. Yeah, help them get on their feet, not make it a charity case lasting for eternity. Yeah, Bucky. Yeah, well said. Greenland is part of Canada. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, I heard they want to build a whole bunch of data centers up there. That might be the real reason we're trying to get Greenland so we can build data centers for AI. Uh, that would not surprise me. I'm not saying that's what it is, but if it'd be a great place to build a whole bunch of data centers to power their AI, that would be. Then maybe that's just a coincidence. No, we can't allow China to run Greenland. Yeah. All right. I, I guess so. Why? Why couldn't we allow China to run Greenland? Greenland's their own country. If they want to let China in there, why shouldn't they be allowed to? Why does America have to say step in there and say no, you can't come into this country? Uh, if they went in there by force, by military force, and we were just going in there and defending our our allies, and then returning their country to them, okay, yeah, I would be for that. But uh, some other, I'm just of the mind that we need to leave other countries alone, unless it's by military force. Um, no, that's where they make the adrenochrome. That maybe that's it. Yeah, you love your private jet harness. No, Melody, we don't get upset by all caps. Yeah, Stricky budget. Yeah, no, we don't get upset by all caps here, Melody. No sweat. Keep up the caps. Greenland is part of North America. Yeah, maybe they will rethink the Second Amendment thing. Um, and okay, again, I'm gonna reiterate this. If it is important that we take Greenland, we acquire Greenland somehow through purchasing by military force, bullshit and experience, whatever way Trump decides to acquire Greenland. Okay, I'm not against acquiring Greenland if it's necessary. If we need Greenland, we need Greenland. Let's go get it. But I'll say this again: we need to take care of our own first. We don't need to be buying Greenland when people don't have health care, when our jobs are being shipped overseas, when we've got military veterans who've given limbs in defense of this, well, not really in defense of this country because we weren't defending our country when it happened, but whatever, in defense of democracy, right? We've got military veterans who need help. We've got our economy is dog shit. Our interest, our inflation is skyrocketing. The prices of our homes is getting completely out of reach for the common person. Every education is dog shit. Our pharmaceutical industry, medical industry, all of these huge industries are completely poisonous, dog shit. But what are we talking about? We're talking about buying Greenland or acquiring Greenland. That should be about, I don't know, number 147 on our list of shit to get done. Let's fix inflation. Um, let's fix the housing market so a common person can buy a house. Let's fix some things that are wrong in our country before we go adding more to it. uh, let's fix all the corruption in all these federal agencies and all these illegal immigrants stealing our money. All this shit we see happening. All of this stuff needs to be done before we acquire more land, and then we can sit around and talk about buying Greenland. Now, a lot of us are sitting here in the United States barely paying our bills, working 60 hours a week, trying to keep food in kids' mouths and keep the rent paid and keep gas in the car, having to borrow money, sell shit we own, and all the new shit we're buying we don't own. And Trump's up there talking about acquiring Greenland. Do you think I give a shit if we have Greenland or not? If China wants to put a flag up in Greenland, I don't give a shit. I'm sorry, I don't. There's shit we need to fix here first. Wrongs that need to be righted. Justice. Let's find some justice here. Let's drag these sons of bitch and crooks out into the street and deal with them. They've been robbing us blind for decades. I'd rather see that than see us get Greenland. There's so many things I'd rather see done before we get Greenland. I could probably talk all night about the shit that I would rather see done before we take Greenland. Living and Active showed up. Where is he at? Gordo, there's Gordo. I see Gordo. Yeah, we can hope he's in hell, along with a few others, Mike. Hey, there he is, living and active. I see you. Glad to see you here. Glad to see you too, Bearded. Yeah, priorities and time management. Yeah. Yeah, because yeah, I totally agree, dude. We need to get our priorities in order, man. Yeah, if we need to take Greenland, let's take it. Uh, but let's put it on the list of things that need to get done and take care of the American people first before we add whatever the population of Greenland is to the number of people that the American government is screwing over. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, yeah, we'll take Greenland and they'll be up there protesting because all of a sudden they have 30% taxes and shit, shitty health care. Their dollar isn't worth a shit now. They can't buy an igloo. It's they the Greenlanders think they want to be American, but they don't even know what they're in for. Yeah, Gordo. Yeah, it's amazing how much we have in common. And it's amazing how much we have in common with all of Western civilization. France, Germany, England, Australia, Norway. I mean, we're all in the same boat in this together. Yeah, we all have the same problems. We're all being run by the same crooks. Our military arsenal is badly depleted. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there'd have to be a good reason. Yeah, Trip, a really good reason. But even if they had a good reason, it should go lower on the totem pole. Lower on the list of things we need to get done. Yeah, yeah, Duncan. Yep. And we're not at we're okay. That and we all say that kind of stuff. Like we're playing good Samaritan to the rest of the world. But and that would be at least tolerable if that's what we were doing. If we were enriching the lives of the people in these other countries and lifting them up out of poverty, that would be, that would be something, but we're not. It's our politicians sending their politicians money. Our politicians take a chunk. And then when it gets over there, their politicians take a chunk. You know what I mean? And then it goes to some corporation over there who gets the rest of it. Yeah, to fund AI or some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's a joke. Uh, I don't know what ice has to do with Greenland, as in the the. I'm not sure what kind of ice you mean. I think you're talking about the federal agency ice AI. I heard that they want to build or are planning to build those huge data centers in Greenland because it's so cold up there that it's better. Those computers run better in cold climate and cold temperatures. So they build all these data centers over there in Greenland where it's cold. Um, There'll be more, the machines will run better, be more efficient, just all around better place to build it than anywhere in America. So that's kind of it. That's a conspiracy theory type of thing. All this AI is coming out, and they're building all these data centers now. And now all of a sudden, we need Greenland. We gotta have Greenland. It's so important that we have Greenland now. Uh, well, it wouldn't surprise me if we get Greenland, and then there's just a forest of data centers that pop up over there overnight. You know what I mean? And those people there are going to absolutely hate it. The price of their electricity in Greenland will 10x, overnight. The people will be working 40 hours a week just to keep the lights on. They're going to screw the people of Greenland. Yeah. Newt, what's up, Newt? Glad to see you here, man. Glad you can make it. Yeah. Yeah. ICE just needs to do more of what they're doing, in my opinion. Glenn South, what's up, Glenn South? Glad you can make it, Glenn. Rex Chaoticus, what's up, dude? Welcome, dude. Glad you can make it. Yeah, all war are banker wars, Brad. Yes. Yep. Couldn't agree more. Yeah. And everyone, Tripwire said it there, home first, the rest can wait. Every single country should be that way. From Venezuela to Uganda to, to England to the United States to Greenland, everyone should build just like you do at home on a smaller scale. You take care of your own house first. Then if you have extra, then you can give to charity, right? You don't go selling your own car and yank your own door off your hinges and go give it to your neighbor because you know what I'm saying? That kind of shit doesn't work. You don't go give you away your last $50 when your kids don't have food at home. That makes you evil. You have to take care of your own first. Once your kids are fed, then you can look after everyone else. Then you can help other people. And it just makes sense. But when we see it happen on a national scale, we're confused because they tell us that it's just too complicated and all this shit, right? You're just a common average person. You can't understand why we're screwing you over every single day and just shitting money all over the planet. You just don't understand why we need to do that. I don't need to understand why you're doing it. I just need to realize that you are doing it. You know what I mean? And understand that there are other ways are better. There are better ways to do shit. Yeah, we are not represented by the actions of those who govern us. Yeah. Yep. I agree, living. People just want to be people if they're decent. Yep. Sniz, man overboard. Get back on Prozac, old man. Yeah, the money skim racket, Mike. Yeah. There are alternatives in place. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm not, like you talk non-earth materials, you talking about mining asteroids and stuff. That's what we should have been doing that decades ago. No, the real ice. Yeah. Greenland is more than just ice. Oh, you are moving to Ohio then, Melody? Okay. Hope you get a good spot up there. There's some beautiful country up there and some good people. Oh, vanilla ice underground. Yeah. Yeah, that train needs to stop, Bucky. Oh yeah, the censor, Mr. Hurst. What's up, Mr. Hurst? Glad to see you here. Yeah, that censorship sucks, dude. Yeah, charity starts at home. Yeah. Well said, Mike. Yep. In just 4 words. Yep. Exactly. Start at home, get everything good at home, no matter where your home is, get it right at home. And then reach out to other people and offer help. It makes no sense when home is suffering to reach out and try to stop suffering in other places. So, and not only that, that's not what's happening. They're not trying to stop suffering. They're prolonging the suffering, and they're just robbing everyone coming and going. Oh, okay. Yeah, DIY your a solar panel. Yeah, solar system. Yeah, yeah, Roz. Yep, exactly. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Yeah, he barely had shoes. He's out there spending money on bullshit. Yeah, you have to pay taxes anyway. Yeah. Um, but it's all if you can find charities that are actually worthwhile and actually help people, and their CEO isn't making 30 million a year. Uh, yeah, some charities are worthwhile, um, but you know, but it's all bullshit in my opinion. Um, we shouldn't have to pay taxes, and we don't we say it like that because we're trained to, like, I pay my taxes, right? No, they rob me, they take it away from me before I ever see it. I don't pay anything. I don't pay taxes. It's taken from me before I ever see a dime of it. So yeah, if I'm lucky, I'll get some kind of thing where I can get a return, and so they've had an interest-free loan of my money for a year, and they'll give a portion of it back to me or whatever. And that's if you're lucky. You know what I mean? Uh, Most of the time, they just keep all my shit. Yeah, sharing our land and money with people that hate us. Yeah, yeah, zombie, exactly. Yeah, tank. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think any free society, or at least the people that call themselves free, would say that their government represents them. Yeah, I agree. Asteroid hit us where we mine nickel. Okay, we should buy nickel back to mine them. Yeah, buy a patch of ice and raise a family. Yeah. Asteroids are not as profitable as we once thought. Well, that depends on our technology. If we had created the technology to go out and get them, just like any other technology, make it cheap enough, and then it would be profitable. Yeah, at the point it is now, no, it just costs so much to go get it that it's not. There's no return on the money. But if they had put all their effort into that, uh, going out and mining asteroids instead of mining here on Earth, blowing all our permafrost away and shit, looking for gold and minerals, then it might be a different story. Muskogee Land, what's up? Glad to see you. Straight out of Santa Fe. Gordo. I look like Gordo, and we bitch about the same things. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, that's straight up awesome. Great minds think alike, Gordo. that's that's awesome. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, give them circuses, Brad. Exactly, dude. Yep. Drone manufacturing. Yeah. Yeah, nobody would dare come close to us. Yeah, underground, you're right. Yeah, we could if we took all of the money that we have just pissed away around the planet and put it toward other things, like mining asteroids, for instance, or just a defensive structure, that just an unimaginable defensive structure, right? Where no one would dare come close to us. No one could come close to us without complete, some ship comes up and they're not tagged or whatever, right? Or AI just scan them, and they're not on some friendly list. Then a big drone just comes out and hovers over their ship, and tells them to stop, and then the Coast Guard can come out there and board them and look at. I mean, we could have defense structure that would be no other. no other country could even think about stepping foot on American soil. We wouldn't have to worry about that shit. We wouldn't have to worry about Greenland and all this other shit. But we haven't done that, right? We just pissed all our money away, borrowed it into the from the bank. We pissed away 38 trillion, and then when you add, there's another deficit that's under wraps, the Pentagon deficit. It's supposed to be like 25 trillion. If you add the two together, what is that? 50, 63 trillion. If you add the two together, then uh, that's not common knowledge. You know what I mean? But think about all the stuff we could have done with all that money, if it hadn't been laundered and squandered and wasted and stolen. Yeah, oh yeah, we're doing a piss poor job of managing it, Robert. Ah, well, you're welcome, Bucky. You're one of those people doing their part. We appreciate you too, man. Chaz, what's up, Chaz? There he is. Hell yeah, Dead Wolf too. Shit, now we've got a show. Chaz and Dead Wolf showing up. All right. Lunar mining. I wonder what they. I don't know what the hell they have on the moon, or what's on the moon to mine. Got to be something, right? Tank. You'd think. Yeah. Okay. That's why they're racing back to the moon. Okay. Not to asteroids or Mars. Now I sound like an NWO CubeSat prison tech kept afloat by Harp Tech. What? I don't even know what the hell that means. I'm going to take it as a compliment, though, Tomcat. Yeah, Glenn South. Yeah, spend it here, dude. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, take all that shit that we've squandered and spend it here. Yeah, all that money. They do it in crypto. They'll burn crypto. It's called burning, and they'll burn a big chunk of it so there's less of it, so the small portion is valuable, right? To keep it valuable, and that's what we need to do with the American dollar. Burn half that shit. All that shit that's overseas, delete it. Yeah, delete that shit. Oh well, you're sorry. You're shit out of luck. Man, get our currency back up to where it's supposed to be. I know that would probably cripple the economy and cause an apocalypse, but y'all should know how I feel about an apocalypse. It's worth a try, in my opinion. Yeah, make a lightsaber. Yeah, Arnis, that would be cool. If AI was making lightsabers, I would be more in favor of AI, I have to admit. Yep. Yeah, you're right, Raziel. Yeah, progress. Just a bunch of nerds. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Mexicans are indigenous, but yeah, um, they well, they're not indigenous to North America. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that's just that kind of stuff. You have to go back, thousands of years to see whether they're indigenous or not, and that thousands of years ago has no real relevance to today's world. So it doesn't matter if they're indigenous or not, if any of that. The fact is that they come over here, they work for rock bottom wages under the table, don't pay taxes, scam our welfare systems, and rob us blind. If they would sneak over here, pay taxes, work hard to get the wages up, demand to be paid better, pay taxes and not steal tax money. If they would do, then we wouldn't have a problem with illegal immigration. It wouldn't matter. I wouldn't give a shit, you know. But the inverse is true, though. It's the exact opposite of what's good is what's true, and that's bad, if that makes any sense. A dramatic difference in material than Earth, zombie? Yeah, say what you like. It does not mean you have to believe it. People that think we went to the moon are just like flat earthers. I don't know. I don't know. Y'all could probably guess this about me. I don't know whether we've actually been to the moon or not. I highly am suspicious about some of the lunar landings. I do believe that one or more were faked. I don't know that all of them were, but so to say that we haven't been to the moon, no, I'm not convinced of that. But I'm about convinced that some of that stuff was faked. Yeah, at least one or two in the beginning. Yeah, that talk while being harvested. You didn't personally land on the moon living? Yeah, me neither. So I don't know. I've got my ideas about what happened from the evidence that I've seen. RR, what's up? Yeah, yeah, RR, you're right about that. We're just what's that called? Interlopers on this planet. We're just here for a short time. 12 gate and some dragon's breath. Yeah, Chaz. Yeah, we're all indigenous to the earth. Yeah, if people would go somewhere and do right by other people and help them when they get there, they would be welcome. If you go there and you rob them and and take advantage of their labor and their time, then they don't want you there. It's that simple across the board. It's that simple. Yeah, yeah, exactly, RR. Most of them send the money they make back to their families in other countries. I heard from Mexican friends that they have signs in Mexico as you're coming north, don't forget to send your money home. It's on big billboards as you're headed north through Mexico. Don't forget to send your money home. Yeah, so a big part of the Mexican economy is money uh, taken out of our economy, looted from our economy, and sent back down there. That's a big part of the Mexican economy. So that, of course, the Mexican government doesn't want that to end. Oh yeah, so yeah, they were invaded by Spain, so they are European too. Yeah, yeah. If only Stanley Kubrick was still alive. Doc Shelley, what's up, Doc Shelley? We never went back to the moon because we lost the technology. Yeah, I have heard that when they landed that thing on the moon, it rung like a gong. The moon did. I've heard all kinds of different conspiracy theories concerning the moon. Um, I've heard that they basically whoever's up there, that there's some beings up there or whatever, and they told the astronauts to get the hell out and don't ever come back. I've heard all kinds of different stuff. So there's no telling. It's all fun to think about and discuss, though, in my opinion. Is there a Planet Nine out there somewhere? Yeah, that is a cool one. That's the whole. What's that race that was supposed to have created humans and stuff? Bucky knows it. What's that race, Bucky? Then shit, I forgot the name of them. But they're supposed to live on Planet Nine, Nibiru or whatever. The only thing about that is if the planet comes in close to Earth and then goes way the hell out, around the sun every 26,000 years, then they spend like 20,000 years in the cold, dark depths of space with no energy from the sun. So how they can survive, how a species could grow on that kind of planet with almost no energy, just a few short, maybe months of energy or something as they zip around. I don't know. But yeah, that's the only weird thing about that I think about that, the whole Nibiru thing or whatever. But yeah, could there be a planet? I've heard, and I've heard that, astronomers out there looking for that ninth planet and all that stuff. It could definitely be out there. Definitely. It's just kind of, what we choose to believe. You know what I mean? Is that interesting to you? Is it fun to think that there's a ninth planet out there called Nibiru, and there's some aliens on there that are manipulating our genes? Well, hell, if that's fun for you, then hell, go for it. Uh, but I don't know. We're never going to be able to prove that shit until they, land their ships here and start putting us on them. Putting us to work mining their gold and shit. Jennifer, what's up, Jennifer? Glad to see you here. Really, is that you, Tomcat? Is that lived the moon landings or liked the moon landings yourself? Living and active is named Pluto, the ninth planet. Yeah, I looked up the thing and I read why they changed it. Nibiru, okay, zombie. I read why they reclassified Pluto, and it kind of makes sense. But I've got no skin in that game. Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, ours is unlike any other moon in the solar system, especially compared the relative size to its host planet. Right, it's huge compared to the size of the Earth. When you check out the other moons of the other planets, ours is enormous. Uh, so yeah, and it's really crazy that it orbits the Earth. That something that big is flying around the Earth right now. Because if it was traveling through space, the Earth couldn't have caught it. It couldn't have caught it in its gravity. The Earth's not big enough to catch it in its gravity and make it a satellite. So, and they've come up with other theories about how the moon was formed. Whether you decide to buy into them or not is up to you. That's another theory. Yeah, is there a planet nine or a primordial black hole? One of those small black holes. Yeah, that is pretty damn cool to think about too, Shannon. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, we found them, Jennifer. We found them down in the depths of the ocean. They actually uh, they get none of their energy from the sun. Okay, the question is, can life itself start without energy from the sun? Now, in my understanding, some because they're shrimps and stuff, right, and crabs, and they migrated there and they started, and they adapted to these underground plumes and stuff. Um, and but they were created somewhere else, and then they migrated there. We have no evidence that life spontaneously came about without the sun, without the energy from the sun. So that I know of personally. I might be wrong about that. Yeah, let's do the time warp. Yeah. Yeah. I've thought about that before, Rusty dude. When they show pictures of the universe, if you look at it, like our solar system looks like an atom, and then galaxies look like molecules, and then you go out even further on their little what's that, a simulation, then the universe looks like a muscle strand. You know what I mean? So it makes me wonder if, like, if it, if there aren't solar systems inside us right now. You know what I mean? Tiny little microscopic uh, solar system with people fighting wars and shit in my butt cheek. You know what I mean? Or if we aren't in a thigh bone of a galactic moose or something. That kind of weird shit. That's just weird shit that goes through my head sometimes. It would be cool though. I guess it wouldn't really matter at the same time. Oh, okay. The bigger than the continent of North America, or as big? Oh yeah, Underground. I love that movie. Yeah, I need to watch it again. As a matter of fact, it's been a few months since I've seen it. Yeah, yeah, you're right. We're getting there. Yep. Yeah, I've seen that theory, Shannon, about how the moon was created, the impact theory. Yeah, I've seen that one too. Aren't they? No, they're theories. Nobody knows how the moon was created. Shannon, they make up theories. Nobody was there to see it. Nobody saw it happen, so we don't know. They come up with theories, but they don't know. Nobody knows how the universe was created. Was it a big bang? Was it something else? Was it nobody knows. So we have theories. That's all we have. Telescope. They can't find the flag on the moon. Oh, okay, old man. I haven't heard that. AF. What's up, AF? Glad to see you here. Oh, all right. Yeah, AF. Yeah, it's a fun conversation we're having. Hardwire, there he is, Hardwire. Glad to see you, Hardwire. Glad you can make it, dude. I appreciate you showing up. And everybody, Hardwire's show starts at 6. So I got to try to end this one in time for y'all to make it to his. But yeah, hitting it with Hardwire. The link's in the description, by the way. So we are in a simulation. Yeah, Muskogee, I've thought about that quite a bit, and I've come to the conclusion that it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter if this is a simulation. I still got to go to work in the morning. You know what I mean? And God can make it however the hell He wanted. If He wanted to make it a simulation, He made it a simulation. So that's kind of just what what I came to thinking about that shit quite a bit for quite a long time. I eventually came to the conclusion that it doesn't matter if we're in a simulation. Just my personal feelings about it. I don't, oh well, if it is a simulation, it's a simulation. What am I going to do about it? Dark Side of the Moon is pretty cool, Christopher. Yeah, yeah, they're all just theories. I mean, and a lot of these theories we have, the science community has come up with. Um, they're helpful. They aid us in a lot of ways. But the only thing that really bothers me about them is that they present them as fact, and they teach us they teach us these theories like they're fact, right? That's just the way it is. Well, no, it's not. That's just a story that someone came up with, you know, and there's like three different stories. That one makes the most sense, but it doesn't make all sense. Okay. Just like this thing with the moon. Okay, there's an impact theory that the moon came in and it hit the earth and it slung all the way around, right? And the moon like almost turned into liquid and slung around the earth, and the earth absorbed the moon's solid iron core, and then the rest of the shit just spun all the way around the earth. Okay, so that just seems highly coincidental to me that the moon collected every single piece of itself, right? That if it was in basically liquid form around there, why didn't it coalesce into three smaller moons? 2, 15, 25? Why just one? It would be much more difficult for one moon to collect all its little particles, because once the two particles got in resonance with each other, they could never catch each other, right? Or 15 or whatever it is. That's why these other planets have more than one moon, because they can't connect, they can't catch each other once they get in resonance, or they get outside each other's uh, uh, satellite, whatever it is, orbit. So it just that's the best theory we have, the impact theory. Don't get me wrong, that's the best sounding one, but I still wonder about it. I'm not saying it's complete hogwash. That's probably what it is, but it's still a theory, and it's not. It doesn't answer 100% all my questions, but that's the best one we have, and it does sound pretty damn good. I'll be honest. That's compared to the other ones. The other ones just don't make sense. Well, yeah, but nobody was there to record the planet hitting the Earth, Shannon. We don't know a planet hit the Earth. That's just a theory. Nobody was there to record it. There's no proof of it whatsoever. Zero proof. Absolutely zero. Some some circumstantial evidence. We have no real solid evidence of it. Just somebody's idea, you know, and they might come up with a better one next year and say, "Oh, okay, well, we come out with some new math, and Einstein said this, and and hell, this is how it happened." You know, but yeah, no, I think that that's probably the truth. Is the impact theory? That's the one that makes the most sense in my time right now during my lifetime. The impact theory made the most sense, but at the same time, it's still a theory. It's not a fact by any stretch of the imagination. Nah, 61's not old. No, no, Melody, 61's not old. The moon's thought the moon was cheese. All right, Rusty. We're all running out of time, Muskogee. We've been running out of time since the day we were born. Yeah, that underground. I've never been into space, so I don't know. I'll listen when somebody else says something good, sounds right to me. Okay, if that's your story and that sounds good, I'll go with that one. Until something better comes along. But yeah, that sounds good enough for now. But I just personally, I have to admit that it's not a fact. You know what I mean? It's a theory. So nickel is proof. Hypothesis, yeah. Neptune got knocked over. Hey, Christopher, is that the one where is Neptune the planet that orbits? Is it orbit? It's tilted on its side, right? It spins this way instead of this way. And yeah, that's the only one I think that we know of that spins on its side. And then there are theories about that. Why the hell does it spin on its side like that? Why are its poles facing this way instead of this way, like all the other planets? Yeah. Tiamat connecting the rabbit holes. What's up, rabbit? Conjecture plus wishful thinking. Now, we talk about this. Some of these people, they put a lot of thought and effort and work into coming up with these theories. I'm not discounting that. Okay. Um, some of them, not all of them, some of them. We can't discount, all the hard work that goes into coming up with these theories and stuff. Not hard physical labor, but still mental effort to come up with these theories. But still, no matter how much work you put into a theory, in the end, it's still a theory. It's an idea. You weren't there. You weren't sitting on Saturn watching the moon hit the Earth. So you don't know. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they're the best idea we have at the time. And theory after theory after theory has been replaced by better theories. They're constantly coming up with new theories. So yeah, Mercury has no moon. Yeah, yeah. Mercury has no moon. Venus has no moon. Mars has a little tiny moon, and we have a giant one. Giant. Yeah. So yeah, that is odd, Sniz. That's an odd thing. In your 90s to be old, I figure in your 70s, me personally right now in your 70s, but that's depending on the individual, how well they get around, their mental, how mentally old they are they still young at heart? um, you know uh, so I believe when you're in your 70s you can be old if circumstances are right. You can be old in your 70s, but that's not necessary. uh, but by the time you're 80, your ass is old. Yeah. Yeah, that's old. 80's old, in my opinion. Elliptical orbit, out of range with the others. Okay, AF. Oh, yeah. Zombie, you can be non religious and still believe in intelligent design. Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think um, a lot of people are going that way now because and no offense to organized religion, it helps a lot of people get a lot out of it. I personally just don't. That's not my thing. But yeah, I think a lot of people are still religious. I myself consider myself a Christian, but I'm not into organized religion at all, not even a little bit. So yeah, I think I still try to live right and do right by other people, try to obey, you know, the rules that were put down for me. But at the same time, I think that a lot of stuff that's put down by organized religion doesn't necessarily blend well with the actual word of God, if that will be, Jesus. Jesus is actually his actual quotes, what he actually said. So yeah, it's made in the USA. Everything's made in the USA except that cheap Chinese bullshit, Lake. We didn't make that shit. Strength of 10 hippies, Arnis. Come on, dude. Yeah, Jennifer. No, it doesn't make sense to me. And they don't tell you. You think about the Big Bang Theory and the whole thing banged or whatever, but when you start digging into it, if you're really interested in it, you'll find out that it needs to be propped up by another theory because the Big Bang Theory in itself does not work. It just doesn't work. They just bought into it. Everybody bought into it for a long time, and then people started asking the right questions and say, well, that couldn't really happen. And so they needed this, the great expansion theory, right? So they had to prop it up with another theory just for it to explain how the universe we see today, because it doesn't do it by itself. So yeah, and then the whole thing out of something from absolutely nothing, and I've said that before. The absolutely nothing, we can't even. It's hard to understand what that is, because it's nothing that we can imagine is inside space, because it's inside our universe. It's empty space is what we think of as nothing, right? And you can't even have that in our universe. There's no such thing as completely empty space. Even if you pull a vacuum on it, you can't get completely empty space. So for there to be no space, there's no place for anything to bang. You know what I'm saying? No, it's that's what I can't wrap my mind around. Literally, scientifically, nothing. There's nowhere for anything to bang. There's no space for it to bang in. Like, we have space in this universe. That's the only reason we have space, is because we have a universe. If we didn't have a universe, there'd be no space. So yeah, it's just crazy. That shit just doesn't make sense to me. Patrick, what's up? Pluto? Is it a moon? I don't know. Does it orbit another planet? I don't think so. I think it's a moon or a satellite, at least, of the sun, but it's in that belt, that asteroid belt, isn't it? From what I understand, or maybe I'm thinking of something else. I might be confused, but from what I understand, it's in that asteroid belt. So I don't think it's a moon of anything. Try to do better. Yeah, we all do, zombie. Hopefully we're all trying to do better. Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it. Gordo, spirituality. Yeah, religion was the first form of government. Yeah. All planets rotate around an axis. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that makes sense, Chaz. And I'd have to say I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Hardwire, organized religion. And that's kind of bad for me to. I'll admit that that's kind of bad for me to label all organized religion in that way. So it depends on the person. It can be good or bad depending on what you take from it. So yeah, hardwire. Good point, dude. Yeah, more important than this year's wheat crop. Yeah, no, we're supposed to take care of each other. We're supposed to take care of our responsibilities. Make sure our kids are fed. Make sure, you know what I'm saying, Raj. Yeah. Um, Priorities. But in a perfect world, in a just society, um, we would have time to harvest a wheat crop, and time to seek whatever spiritual journey we wanted to go on, or none. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, that's where I'm at there. Yeah. 30 with 23 years of experience. You got 23 years of experience being 30. That's a damn hell of a way to put it, old man. I like that. I'm gonna have to remember that shit. Oh, you can't hear me, Duncan? Can anybody else having a problem hearing me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Duncan said he can't hear me. Into the void. Sabbath tune. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree with that too, Jennifer. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, living and active. No, you can hear me, Arnis? All right. So looks like everybody else can hear me. So okay. So and I think it's good that we talk about religion once in a while, you know what I mean? And just get other points of view about it. And we've talked about it quite a bit here on Gen X Thinks. Never have I seen um, anybody get insulting and shit, insulting another person's religion. Well, except for that one over there, with the praying to the east every 6 hours or whatever. You know which one I'm talking about. The one YouTube doesn't like me to talk about. Except that one. And I don't really harp on the religion. I harp on the shit they do. Okay. Marrying children and all this other shit. Just right. They think rape is okay. This kind of stuff is bad. But they can believe in whoever the hell they want to believe in. I don't give a shit. But if they commit crimes, they need to be punished for them. But other than that, uh, I don't try to trash anybody else's religion. Everybody's free to believe whatever the hell they want. All right, Jennifer, thank you. Flying squirrel chess. Yeah, that's a good one, dude. Yeah. All right. Regular skin color emoji. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, yeah, melody too. Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to switch to that. Yeah. Rise, Metal Gear, Sniz. That's cool as shit. Yeah. All right. Oh yeah, AF. You were talking about giving shock treatments in 2008. I was wondering where were you at when you gave these shock treatments to these patients? Were you in a basement, like a dank basement? Was there like a incandescent bulb like flickering and shit? And did you say stuff like when you know, was that the kind of scenario? Because you didn't like flesh out the rest of that story. All you said was that you gave shock treatments in 2008. So I was just kind of wondering about that AF. Yeah, I was curious. That shit, that shit was funny as hell the other day when you said that. Damn. Wheel Gauge. What's up, Wheel Gauge? The first church of Slayer. Yeah, dude. Space grass. Called Spaceballs. That's one of my favorite songs is called Space Lord by Monster Magnet. That's a kick-ass song, dude. They didn't make a whole bunch of good albums, but that one song that thing rules. I love that song. Universe is data. Yeah, I like that. A raccoon that broke into a bakery and ate itself into a coma. Yeah. No, they're not going to make a sequel to Spaceballs, are they, Duncan? Really? The Satanic Bible? Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that before. I've never read it or anything, but I've heard that before. Lake grew up with Marines, Christopher. Yeah, yeah, Melody. Yeah, I mean, we can all believe different stuff, and still get along and have fun and enjoy each other and get different points of view and learn from each other's experience and wisdom. That's what all this shit's about, and try to figure out what the hell's going on in this world. Why would Minnesota? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, a procedure room. All right. All right, AF. That's not as fun as the dank basement, but okay. All right. Yeah, it's a personal independent journey for all of us. Yeah, don't persecute others for their opinions. Don't yeah. And that's the thing that the Gen X gets right, that these all these younger people are going back and they don't understand that all this hatred and animosity between each other for the shit they believe, it's all pointless. What the hell's the point? You know, right is right, wrong is wrong, stealing is bad. If you come into another country and you're stealing from their citizens, you're bad. You're wrong. You're a criminal. It's just the way it is. The ultimate pinball machine, Duncan. Yeah. Spaceballs 2 is in production. I did not know that. Yeah, I know, Metal Gear. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it rules, but I don't know. I don't have high hopes for it. You were the weirdo, Chaz? Moke? You're a moke? Yeah, sniz. Yeah, I don't like evil either, dude. Just any of it in any form. Even, just subtle evil. No, I'm not with it. Yeah, if you don't know who the weirdo was in your group, it was you. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they look at you crazy when you're playing Marty Robinson. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The next on your playlist is Space Lord. Yeah. Yeah. There you go, Trip. Believe it or not, we'll still pray for you. Yeah. I just have a hard time. One of the early questions in my head when I was a kid was like all of the Native Americans that were born, grew to adulthood, lived and died before any Europeans came over here, before they ever had the opportunity to take Jesus as their Lord and Savior. So they're going to burn in hell for eternity because they never got the opportunity to accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior. All of them. Uh, So I have a real tough time buying into that. I no that's not true. I don't buy into that. I won't. That in my mind that cannot be true. So yeah, that's where I'm at there, and that's just one of the things, and one of the things that just my logical thinking mind won't allow me to accept. I can't just blindly accept that. I just can't do it. I can. I just won't. I won't do it. So yeah, yeah. Sniz. That's yep. I agree right there. What Sniz said there, and all those awesome capital letters that I love. What makes the most sense to me is that the universe has always been here. It expands, then contracts to be born again over and over again. Yep. Yep. I agree with that. I don't think it's just flying out and gonna be some kind of big freeze and everything. Nope, I think it's gonna contract and then go out again and then contract and then go out again. And that's what I believe. Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, uh, zombie, Mr. Hurst, nobody does that twice. He said he peed on an electric fence once. Yeah, you only do that once. You don't do that shit twice. That's for damn sure. Yeah. Lorianne, you've been accused of being a witch before. Was it on Halloween, Lorianne? Huh? Phantom Colts, what's up? Up to us to use it or not? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Damn cool, dude. Yeah, 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 Mike. Yeah, when everything they think is a lie, we've done our job. Yeah, you didn't know that you could get shocked like that, Melody? Oh yeah, yes, yes, you can. That is not an urban myth or some shit like that. I want to see MythBusters do that shit. That would be awesome. Watch those two fools. That'd be cool as shit. Yeah. Native Americans have it right. Human sacrifice for profit. Yeah. That's what we see. Oh, okay. Early 2027. Spaceballs 2. I hope it's good. You used to listen to John Denver on your player at lunch during school? Hell yeah. I like John Denver. Yeah, they migrated from Asia. Yep. Or so we're told. That's supposedly what happened. Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever leads to the least toxic comment section. Yeah, forgive ourselves and our peace of mind and solid spirit. Yeah, that's an important thing. Self-forgiveness, Melody. A lot of people don't realize that. Joan Rivers will not be back. Oh no, you didn't miss the spiel. No, bearded care, not yet. Not till 6. What time is it? Yeah, we got a few more minutes till the spiel. Yeah, exactly, Melody. I learned that the hard way and I had to learn it for myself. But once I learned it, I realized just how valuable it is. And I've tried to um, tell anyone who might be having problems with that, I tried to explain to them. And so it would help them so they didn't have to go through the whole long, drawn out learning process and figuring out process that I did. Try to give them a shortcut to it. Hopefully, it's helped some people. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, yeah, that's a lie we were told underground that Native Americans were migratory and they all lived in teepees and shit. No, they had societies. They farmed, they had agriculture, they had buildings, they had societies. The most fascinating one to me is the Pueblo. Isn't that the one down there? Yeah, they had a whole stone city down there, and they just walked away from it at some point for Lord knows what reason. But it's nobody knows what the hell, and that's just fascinating to me. I'd love to travel back in time and just be a fly on the wall and see what the hell happened there. That shit is awesome. But yeah, they had all kinds of buildings and stuff and mounds, pyramids made out of dirt, but still they were still pyramid structures. So yeah, cool as shit. Just all kinds of fascinating history here in North America that we were completely ignorant of and not taught about. Yeah, lied through omission. Yeah, Melody, all caps is awesome. Yeah. They hadn't happened yet, Loran? Okay. All right. That'd be a cool superpower, Loran. Humanity is an urban myth because the Lord loves the Marine Corps. That's awesome, old man. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Feelings make me human. I am human. Don't start letting that shit get out, Jennifer, that we have feelings and shit. You're going to ruin Gen X's reputation. Don't even put the F word down in the chat. Yeah. That should, we need to make a new rule. No F words in the chat. I'm joking, Jennifer. You can write whatever you want down in there. Yeah, Spiel is in the bullpen. Yeah. Oh, okay. Peed on it accidentally, zombie. Oh shit. Yeah, I bet you woke the hell up, dude. You were probably jittering like that guy on the Great Outdoors. That guy got struck by lightning 66 times. Yeah, I bet you were jittering like his ass for a few minutes afterward. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, supposedly that's how it all happened, but um I kind of have a suspicion that some of the South Americans migrated over the ocean from the Polynesian islands and shit. Uh, that from some of their folklore and stuff and what we know about them. Oh, all right, 1980. So you can still accept Jesus after you're dead. Yeah, along with South Americans underground. South Americans look completely different from North Americans. So uh, it's hard. I don't know. I don't. It's not that I don't believe that there was some migration or whatever, but I just think that just that migration over the land bridge. I don't think that tells the whole story. Of course, it's very possible that migration happened that way, but I just don't think that's the whole story. I have no idea what the rest of the story is, but it's just a hunch, a gut feeling. Sorry, not sorry, Jennifer. Pita bread, Dunkin', round but flat as well. Yeah, we call it the plate. Yeah, it's a flashlight. The sun's just like a flashlight, and that kind of stuff. There's a globe. There's like half a globe is the sky. It's just like one of those nightlight things. The stars are just holes punched through it. Yeah, for an old man. Oh, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Oh, okay. Yeah, underground. You know your tribe's history. Yeah, Melody. Yeah, you're right. We're full of feelings. It made us who we are. We just don't because we don't emote and we devote our attention to things that really matter, not how somebody else is feeling. You know what I mean? We understand that feelings don't dictate the real world. Jared, what's up, Jared? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's some cool stuff to think about, Atlantis and all that. Army vet girl. Hey, Army vet girl. Glad to see you here. You and Jared both. Welcome to the Gen X Thinks membership and members club, and we have members only live streams at 6 a.m. on Sundays. We had our second one this morning. Good afternoon, Michelle. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, question everything, rabbit hole. Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, to get to the core of it, that's it. Question that shit. If you, especially if you think you believe it, that's just the truth. That's what you need to question. I mean, point blank. That's what you should be questioning. It's not a sin to ask questions by any stretch of the imagination. It's not immoral. It's not hateful. There's no bad term you can apply to asking a question, to trying to find out more information, to, question it all. And hopefully your answer, the answer you receive back is the one you were expecting, because that's what scientists do. They question and then they come up with theories and hypotheses to see if they get that same answer back. We should do the same. Or with a giant magnifying glass. Yeah, maybe, Duncan. Yeah. No one, no one gets Christopher's sweet inner nougat ever again. Yeah, yeah. That's one I have trouble with, is the flat Earth thing. Longhouses, not teepees. Yeah, yeah. Well said, Laura Ann. If people truly have self confidence in what they believe in, it's hard to offend them, and easier to respect others' beliefs and thoughts. So if you're confident in what you believe, you don't give a shit what anybody else says about it, right? It's consuming Everclear. Oh, okay, Michelle. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, that was cool of you. Very cool of you. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. And used properly. Yes, RR. Yeah, yep. When you're crawling around on this dirt ball, the Earth can be whatever shape you want it to be. Honestly, whatever shape you want to come up with in your head, it's not going to change anything. So what the hell ever? Have fun with it. If it's flat for you, it's flat. It's not going to. I'm still going to be walking around on it no matter what shape it's in your head. So yeah, if you don't ask, you don't learn, Michelle. Yeah, well said. Yes. Yeah, I love to put things into perspective, no matter how unusual that perspective might be, Duncan. Yeah. You want to put things into perspective. That's what I do with the analogy of the government, and you take the government's actions and you reduce that down to a household. And how would a household run behaving the way our government runs this country? It would be a disaster, a joke, a horrifying, disastrous joke if you shrunk it down to a household. The only reason it's able to continue is because it's so big, right? Yeah, Crab Man. Hey, Crab Man, what's up, dude? You kept your mouth shut in the military? Yeah. Believe nothing you hear and half of what you see. Yeah, Melody. Well, I don't say, I still think it's nothing you hear and nothing you see either, you know? Yep. And that's what kills me. If you look back, Jennifer, not all Europeans were bad and intolerant, but the rich ones were. That's what rules the world, money. And that's the thing. People want to get mad at white people for being Europeans and stuff, but it was the ruling class, right? The ruling class, those lords and princes and all that shit. They thought that their bloodlines were better than ours, and they were just better people, so they could treat common people like slaves, literally hang them, behead them, just whatever they wanted to do to them, because they had the superior bloodlines. That's what those people used to believe back then. That's why it was such a big deal when Princess Diana, basically a common girl, got married a prince, because he would not normally marry someone of a shitty low bloodline like that. You know what I mean? Uh, but we all fight amongst ourselves and stuff when these people, these rich people, um, earls and dukes and whatever, princes, kings, they see us like dog shit, right? We're just beneath them because of our bloodline is shitty. We're common, and they are elite, but we're squabbling amongst ourselves like it's the common working man over there that's robbing me and shit. You know what I mean? And the whole time it's been that ruling class of people for centuries. Yeah, that shit just kills me. Oh yeah, Aristotle's view on passions and vices, virtues. Yep. Yeah, between the two extremes of the virtues. Yeah, everything. What's it called? Everything in moderation, right? RR. Yeah, the out of Africa theory is contested. Yeah, that again, that's people take that as fact, underground, and it's a theory. It's just a theory. Yeah, yeah. If your house again, absolutely, Gordo. If your household, if you ran your household like the government ran the country, you'd have your kids taken away and you'd be put in jail. You damn sure you would. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Melody. Yeah, yeah. All right, so it's time for me to wrap things up. All right, so we basically kind of figured out that the United States government is a steaming pile of horse shit. Uh, they're robbing us blind and sending our money all over the world to other foreign agents, not to the common people around the world. They're not being aided by our money. We're not helping other common people, other citizens in any way, shape, or form. Uh, we only help them one bomb and one bullet at a time. We don't actually, lend out a helping hand to improve their lives. So and that's just how I see it. The UN, the NATO, and all this shit. They're just ways to rob the common people, just on another level up. Now, whatever Latvia or whatever, they're being robbed for only 2 billion. Those common people. So we're hurting here in America because we're giving away 968 billion. But those poor Latvians are no better off. The common people on the ground in Latvia, they're getting robbed for 2 billion a year. just to hand it to NATO. For what? For what? What has NATO done with that? How many, what is that, $2 trillion? What has NATO done with $2 trillion a year? So I don't see it. I don't see the sense in it. I don't see the sense in the waste and the fraud, the robbery. It's across Western civilization. It's not just here in the United States. Every country needs to look out for themselves and then try to help others, just like any common sense family would do. So thank y'all for hanging out with me. I appreciate it so much. Double thanks to Michelle for handing out a couple of gift memberships. Thank you again, Michelle. I'll say thanks to and goodbye to Tripwire, Living and Active, Christopher, Electronic Music Underground, Chaz, Melody, Michelle AF, Mike Fleisner, my boy Mike, Mr. Hurst, Duncan, Wheel Gauge, Brad Davis, Rusty Doob, straight out of Canada, Laura Ann, Gordo. Did I say Jennifer already? Yeah, I already said Jennifer. Okay. Who else we got? RR. I know Bearded Care was here. Bucky. AF. Let's see. Who else? Old Man. Can't forget Old Man. Crab Man. Try to catch everybody. But, Phantom was here. Who else? Army Vet Girl. Jared McCoy. Melody. Did I say Melody already? All right. So I think, 1980 was here. Can't forget old 1980. Glenn South. See, there's a lot of y'all here today. Keeps going. All right. So if I did not mention your name, say goodbye to you, I apologize. And also to the people who might watch on TV or something or might not get in the comment section, goodbye to you as well. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate your support. And I'm not just saying that. I truly appreciate your time. So thank you very much. All right. And I know everybody's waiting on the spiel. RR's mentioned it a couple times already. He just wanted me to shut up and roll the spiel. But I gotta say something before the spiel. RR, you gotta let me say something. Oh, Shannon, did I say goodbye to Shannon and Layek too? Yeah, Shannon and Layek. Goodbye, y'all, to both of you as well. Oliver Rust, and this spiel is for Michelle and her gift memberships. Thank you very much, Michelle. This spiel is for you. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, it's only $2.99 a month, and I'll put that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. But I really appreciate all the support from the members out there. This is the members banner here. And I really appreciate these people. They support the channel directly through memberships, and it helps out a lot. So thank you very much to all the members. If you're interested in Gen X gear, we got some pretty cool stuff over there at Redbubble. Gen X things and Gen X branded stuff, t-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, hoodies, all kinds of stuff. But I'll leave that link down in the description too for any of you who are interested. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Things, please put those down in the comments, or you can email us, and the email is genxthings@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.